So now I'd like to introduce our honored guest today. Mayor Grover Robinson is a seventh generation Pensacolian, graduated summa cum laude from Birmingham Southern College in 1992 with a Bachelor of Science in Economics. Prior to taking office as mayor, he served as Escambia County Commissioner for 12 years, has an extensive history of service to the Pensacola community. Mayor Robinson has won awards for community involvement and service, including the John Old Mixon Service Award, the Presidential Advocate Award, and he was a member of Leadership Pensacola. In addition, he has a variety of certificates of appreciation and recognition, including the Special Congressional Recognition Certificates from the Florida Senate and the Florida House of Representatives. He's actively involved with a large variety of community organizations and holds positions on Baptist Healthcare Foundation and Pensacola State College Board. He is married to Jill Robinson, who taught my children, and has two children, Grover V and Anna Lowry, who I know he's very proud of. He and his family are active parishioners at Christ Episcopal Church. And Assistant Administrator Kerrith Fiddler, who's new to our community. He is our new Assistant City Administrator. In this role, Fiddler is responsible for oversight of the city's community development departments, including Public Works and Facilities, the Community Redevelopment Agency, and Economic Development. He comes to us from Kissimmee, Florida, where he spent 4.5 years in their, I believe, their Public Works Department, where he had 105 employees and a budget of over $40 million a year. He graduated from Florida International University in Miami and has 15 years of experience in local government throughout the state of Florida. He has moved to Pensacola with his wife, Chevette, who is a Pensacola native, and their 3 daughters, aged 4, 8, and 12. So come up, Mayor Robinson and Assistant Administrator Fiddler.
Well, thank you for being here, and it certainly is great to be with Pensacola Chamber. I had served this organization as membership chair way back in actually the last millennium, but had the opportunity and certainly oversaw Gopher Club, and I got a chance to speak at a Gopher Club, and nobody fell asleep after breakfast, so I think that's why they asked me back. So hopefully none of y'all are going to fall asleep here. Let me tell you how in tune the Chamber is with local government. I was told we prepared everything. We had great slides. We even had some videos for you, and we got it all done. And then we got here, and they said, "Hey, the slide projector's not working." I said, "Don't worry." I said, "That's like every day in local government, right there. We think we're going one direction, and something doesn't work." So if you see me going back and forth between 2 paper copies, please understand we're trying to do this, and we'd hope to have some really good pictures and video for you, but we're going to work through some of that. First off, I'm happy to be here. I consider every day a great day to be here in Pensacola. I think we have incredible times ahead of us in this community, and I feel very happy to be here. I do feel, though, every now and then that you have to dress to your stereotypes, so I wore my seersucker suit when you're mayor of a southern city. I felt like you needed to wear that, so I tried to play that. I would also say that, again, we're excited to be here as part of it. I'm looking around. I did not see any of my city council members. I did see, I saw Mr. Ron Helms, who's running for one of the city council positions, District 5, but I didn't see any other city council members, and I didn't see any other county commission members. I think the last time I was here, I think Robert showed up late. I was going to tell Robert, I would always say, I said, Robert's doing a great job. He's got the easy job because the guy he replaced didn't do anything, so Robert's going to be fine. I would say as far as council, we're continuing to work together. I will say the other day, I was at Rotary Club, and another elected official came up to me, and he said, "Golly," he said, "Sherry Myers, after 6 months, she's already said she's done with you." I said, "I know. Who thought I'd make the over?" But we are working every day to create a better relationship between certainly all of our things, but certainly working together with other institutions. And part of that is I am very proud at my table to be sitting with Gulf Breeze, the mayor Cherry Fitch, and Sam, their city manager. Very happy to be with them. We've been working to improve that relationship, and obviously we got a pretty good relationship with the city of Milton because the mayor of the city of Milton works for the city of Pensacola, so that works out pretty good. But I do think there are several things that are happening, and certainly we manage the city, but I do believe this position has an ability to be more effective across the whole region. And I think each one of your businesses here today, you don't care that if you went up Pace Boulevard and you got above Cervantes, that all of a sudden it changed over into the county. Or you probably drive across the bridge with Sam and Cherry and you wouldn't care if it went to Gulf Breeze because that's where your business goes. We understand that. We understand that we have to be working together. Now, that doesn't mean we're always going to agree on everything, but what it does mean is that we're working together to make sure that we create the kind of business climate for all of Northwest Florida. And I will be sorely remiss if I don't recognize one of the representatives who represents the city of Pensacola at the state of Florida, who we're also working with, and that's Representative Alex Andrade. I see Alex out there. He's done a great job for us. It's amazing. Absolutely. Not even a year. He's had a great year, and we're expecting big things from him next year. So we got a lot of appropriations requests for you, Alex. We're going to ask you to carry for us. But in all seriousness, it's a team effort. What you see happening in Northwest Florida doesn't happen just because of the city or the county or the state. It happens because all those entities are working together, and we continue to try to do that. Before I begin, real quick, I did at least want to acknowledge certainly what is happening in District 5 in just the sense of taking a moment to pay tribute to Gerald Wingate. Certainly, Councilman Wingate was a city council member since 2012. Grew up here, served in the Army for 25 years, went to Pensacola Junior College and UWF, and more importantly, he was a devoted father to Betsy, a devoted husband to Betsy, and father of 5 children. So certainly our prayers continue to go out to the Wingate family and appreciate them for their service. As we move forward, one of the things that we did was we tried to figure out a transition team. We were very involved with that. I think last time I spoke, I kind of spoke to what was happening with the transition team. Now, we had a pretty slide up here that was going to show you all the things that we were doing in green and sort of some of the things that we've done in green, some of the things that we're currently doing in yellow, and then some of the things we haven't started yet in red. We have some of those things going on, but I just did want to at least read a couple of things that are going on. And I really want to thank a few people. And some of them may be in the room, and certainly thank your willingness to step up and be a part of that. We had Quint Studer was certainly our transition team chair, and I think he brought a lot to the table. I think when we see what he's doing and with cities and civic engagement and really making a difference all over the United States, it's hard to believe we're right here in Pensacola. I was at the League of Cities with the mayor of Palatka, Florida, and Quint has been very involved in helping Palatka, Florida. And when he references that where he's gotten all his learning from is from Quint Studer from the city of Pensacola, it makes Pensacola look better across the state of Florida and across everywhere in our country. So I appreciate him doing that. We had education was Michelle Saltzman, environment was Christian Wagley, Brian Wire was economic development and entrepreneurship, Connie Bookman, crime and safety, Tina Madison, transparency, Drew Buchanan, traffic and walkability, Christy Tobias, governance, Reverend Isaac Williams, neighborhoods, Bruce Friedenberg, finance and budget, Julie Shepard, legal, and David Peden, government efficiency. So again, they worked very hard to do that. We have about 12 things that we've done so far that we have done. We've already accomplished them, we've finished them, we've done the task, we've checked it off. We've got a couple of those things included. We have here sitting in front of us. One of those is we want to focus on neighborhoods. We have a new hire for neighborhood administrator Lawrence Powell, and I certainly appreciate Lawrence joining the team. He's bringing a lot to the table. We certainly also worked we just hired our complete streets planner. We certainly focus on how we can be more walkable, how we can create a quality of place in this community, and to realize that our roads are not just for our cars, but for our pedestrians and bikes as well. So I really appreciate Mike Zarnick coming to us from the state of Florida. So those are good things. We have several things that we are working on right now. Probably about most of the list right now is in yellow. It's being worked on and we're under progress on. And several of those things include we're working on our one-shop development. We're continuing to work at what we can do to make things easier for you to deal with us. We're not perfect. Obviously, we're going to talk about some things about how busy the community is in building, which made it difficult for us. But we told, Chris is here, we certainly told Jonathan, you need to go hire somebody new. We need to hire another inspector. We realize times are good and we need to have somebody out there. It's an enterprise fund. The fees are paying for it. We don't want to slow down development or things that are happening because we can't get it properly staffed. So we're working very hard at those things. We want to clearly define our functions with economic development and how we end up working on that. I certainly appreciate Rebecca and how she works together. We're continuing to look and see how we can work with the community and the economic development side. We realize whether it's creating jobs like what we're doing with ST at the airport and continuing to do workforce, or whether it's things in technology and what we have at the, I still think of it as just the incubator. I know it's got a collab. But what we're doing there, we have great things that are going on across Pensacola and what we're doing. And again, we need to be players in all those things. We've got to be out there hunting for businesses, but we've also got to be gardening, and we're doing some of that. One of the things we're working on very, very diligently is certainly our administration and our management team. And I really appreciate Chris Holly coming in as city manager and working that. Certainly one of the things that we wanted to do was add some more depth and again, create succession plans. So we had, in all of our departments, we had much better knowledge as to how they were working together, and so that they can provide good quality service. I mean, the most important thing that we do, we're in a service business. We're here to provide you services to make things better every day for you. Now, that doesn't mean everything's perfect, but it was interesting to me is at the end of the day that you want to make sure that the garbage gets picked up, that the pothole in front of your house gets taken care of, that your drive, and we understand that maybe this was meant to be this way on Main Street. We're going to fix Main Street drainage. I know it's a problem when it rains, so we're going to do it. And the interesting part is, when I think about the best about local government, a guy said it when I was at the League of Cities, when you're there, you don't care. There's not a Republican way to fix a pothole or pick up garbage, or a Democrat way. There's simply a way to do it. And I think that's what local government does every day, is not get involved in those things that end up dividing us, but how we can find ways to unite ourselves in good quality service to what we do. And we're going to continue to do that at the City of Pensacola. One of the things we've done is try to bring in identify and bring in good talent. One of those individuals that we've got is Kerrith Fiddler. He is the best part about Kerrith is his wife, who is a native of Pensacola. And more than that, I don't need to do all this introduction because we've already given that part of all those things. But I will say we are an equal opportunity hire because we've hired a man from the University of Miami. But his wife is the best part, because even though they're going to the game this weekend, she will be dressed in orange and blue. So we have a good time. Kerrith and I is going to have a good time at that game. I hope the drive is long on the way back from Orlando and your wife is happy. But I'm going to let you come up here and speak to what we're doing. Thank you.
So, first and foremost, I'm not a big public speaker. I've done it in the past, being an architect major, presenting in front of a lot of folks, and I've done it a little bit in my career. But about maybe 2 weeks ago, I found out I was speaking at this event. Thanks, Lauren. But I'm good at improvising. So anyway, a little bit about me. Kerrith Fiddler, born and raised in Miami. Parents are Jamaican. So I'm Jamaican descent. Went to high school there, college there. Got my undergrad in architecture, master's in construction management, general contractor, roofing contractor, plumbing contractor, bunch of certifications, floodplain coordinator. No, I did not graduate summa cum laude. I graduated thank you laude. You're definitely looking at an underachiever in school. However, the one thing I did learn was hard work. You walk in my office, I have a board there that just says work hard, stay humble. And I love my COP team is here with me: Chris, Rebecca, Lauren, Lawrence, of course, Allie with the camera distracting me. Susan, Amy's. Well, we have two Susans. I'm trying to figure out who's number one and who's number two. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to working with the community. Some of you guys I've already met. It's going to be a pleasure working with you. But like I said, from Miami, started out in public sector as a bus operator. Did that for 4.5 years while doing my undergrad in architecture. Once I graduated, I moved over to the county as an engineer and drafter. During that time, I said, hey, let me go get a few contractor licenses, and I did that. From there, I moved on and became an engineer for a local municipality 2 minutes from my house. So that was a no-brainer. And then I got an opportunity to be an assistant public works director. From there, while I was assistant public works director at the city of North Miami, a good buddy of mine was the city administrator, and he said, look, I need you to move these projects. We have a bunch of CRA projects that we're not moving. Every year, money's rolling over. Had about $20 million in projects. I said, no problem. Got on board. Less than 6 months, I encumbered $20 million in projects. So I know the importance of making sure projects are moving, you're spending money, and you're making the community better. From there, I applied for a Public Works and Engineering Director for the city of Kissimmee. Funny thing is, I forgot I applied for that job. Came home, got a phone call, and they said, Kerrith, we want to interview you for the Public Works and Engineering Director job. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I get home and I tell my wife, and my wife's like, when did you apply for that job? I'm like, baby, I forgot I even applied for it. So I said, I don't know if I want to go apply for that job. Interview. She said, why? I'm like, it's Kissimmee. I used to go up there in the 80s. It's orange groves and cow pastures, and my uncle lived there back in the 80s. So I said, she said, well, baby, you don't know what God has in store for you. Go interview. So I went and interviewed, and the rest was history. This one I did apply for. But I say that to say this, that, if you would have told me 20 years ago this inner city kid from Miami would be here now, I wouldn't have believed you. So it's a blessing. So some of the departments that I oversee is CRA development, CRA, constituent neighborhood services, economic development, planning and zoning, public works. I think Chris is trying to throw maybe one or two more my way, but I don't know yet. But anyway, I look forward to working with you guys. I won't hold you up. If I haven't met you, please come and introduce yourselves. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
And Kerrith, before you leave, if millions of dollars worth of CRA projects that stuck sound familiar, that may be why we're looking for to get some of our stuff unstuck. So we have a number of things. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think it speaks to the quality of the team members we're trying to pull together for things we want to do here. And I'm excited about the team we get to work with every day. People ask all the time, what's the difference between the city and the county? And I will say I love both institutions. They both are great ones, and I feel very fortunate to live in a community that have two great institutions. But it has been a lot funner to be on the executive side than the legislative side, and that probably has more to do with it than anything else. But I get to work every day with a great team of people, and they do great work. And if I can stay out of their way, they're going to do great things. So that's what we try to do. Let me talk about some of the things that are happening. We kind of want to talk a little bit about what was happening in our various areas. Certainly the state of the economy and what is happening in Pensacola, and certainly as we see it from the city of Pensacola. We have some enterprise, which really are departments that run as a business. Pensacola Energy, and while the numbers I have are so small on my little slide here, I cannot tell you, but we've seen growth every year in revenues for the last 4 or 5 years. This speaks. Certainly there's some things in weather, and there's a variety of other things, but more and less this is going to speak to what we're going to talk about later in permits that are being pulled. We're seeing more things happen, more building happen, is more things attached to gas, and we sell more gas. That's good. That shows what we're doing, and we hope that's good for you because you have other type of businesses. You, one way or another, you also sell or provide services to those new individuals coming into new homes. We certainly are very happy about where we're going with population, both within the city of Pensacola and the Escambia County. So I think all of those things are making a difference. We have our airport, which I will say right now we are on pace for an all-time high of we've got 207,635 passengers in May for an all-time high. Passenger traffic is up 17.34%. And it continues every month. We set a new record every month that beats the year before. We are looking at this point, what do we need to do? You see what we're doing. We're putting an additional lot out there, service lot. At some point, we're going to go back over and see if we can expand the deck. That's going to be coming. We see more and more stuff happening at the airport. We're now servicing 22 cities with direct flights. You are a big part of that. The business that you do, the things that you do for our community, you are helping us be successful. And I think tourism, from where I came from the county and dealing with tourism, what we see, the success that we're seeing in tourism, it's there, but it's not just tourism, it's also business and our own travel. But it is significant what we are seeing that's happening at Pensacola Airport, and I'm very proud to see the growth that has happened there. I keep telling Dan the biggest thing we're going to have to do is eventually get another. Hopefully, we'll be big enough to have two little terminal things. So we'll be like a real big city airport. So we'll be an international airport. That's what we're going for as well. So we're moving in those directions. The Port of Pensacola even perhaps has a better success story of where we're headed. Certainly we've had challenges there trying to figure out what kind of port we are. I appreciate Amy and her direction that she's leading, and we did a study, and we've now implemented, we've kind of given her direction and said, this is what we want you to do, the areas that are successful. Gives her a chance to be successful and going and finding clients who want to do it. We are going to be involved in the maritime business. We may not be involved in the same type of maritime business, but a case in point is we're not doing the same cargo. We're doing cargo, but we're not doing the same cargo everybody else is, but we're not going for that. We're going for a niche. We can do the things that we're doing right now with our, again, it's not only our blue, is it Blue Origin? That's what I was about to go deep blue, but I knew that wasn't it. Blue Origin. And what we're doing out there with those kind of things, let me explain to you what's going on. You would have seen on the slide. Our wharfage fees have gone from $335,000 in 2017 to $350,000 projected for here. But it's really our dockage fees that have gone from $128,000 to $471,000. Again, the growth that we're seeing in all the things, the businesses that we're doing are going forward. What does that mean? It really speaks back to where we're going for where we are related to our values. We have a general fund projection of $57,723,500. Most of that is related to what is seen as improvements in the values that are happening. We feel like we've been successful in what we've done, and it shows in the values of what are happening. In 2016, property values within the city of Pensacola rose by 4.44%. In 2017, 5.79%. In 2018, 7.51%. In 2019, 8.2%. That's certainly happening because that doesn't happen with Save Our Homes. We'd be much smaller. That is new construction coming online, new businesses, new buildings. That's business for everyone in this room, and we want to continue to find ways to do it. As I said before, we're going to work within the rules we have within the code, but we're going to find better ways that we can make sure our inspections department, and we're out there making sure that you can keep moving forward with projects, because those things generate business for all of us, and that's a good thing. What I do think in that ad valorem growth rate is what it is showing is that this is a community that people want to come to. It speaks to quality of place, but the only problem with that is every time we keep having growth, we've got to reinvest in ourselves. That's why we've hired a complete streets person. That's why we're looking to do, how can we make Pensacola the place that you want to live, that your children want to come back and live, that people say, Kerrith Fiddler says, that's a community I want to go to, and I want to take my family from Miami, and I want to be a part of that community. That's the kind of community we're trying to create here in Pensacola, Florida, and it takes reinvestment over and over in what we're doing. So I think that's what your team that serves you is trying to do every day as we move forward. Commercial permitting, commercial and residential permitting. Last year was certainly one of our all-time highs. Our combined was, we went from 127 in 2015, 127 in 2016, 204 in 2017, 313 in 2018. And through the first 9 months, we were at 204. So we're projecting to be somewhere close to that again. Beating our record is where we go. This tells you that people are wanting to come to the city of Pensacola and build, whether it's commercial or residential. We are very happy to see the amount of residential construction that we have within the city. Certainly some of it happening in the core, but not just in the core. I see it almost in every neighborhood I go into. I see other houses coming up on what were vacant lots. there still is a lot of untapped real estate within an already developed area that we have, and we want to continue to find ways to make it so that we can continue to grow in this community. That's one of the things that certainly is very important. Our sales tax collections are up. Certainly, we were 3.42% up in 2015 to 7.39% in 2018. And this year in 2019, we're still projecting we're on pace to be another 5.4% up from last year, which was a record year for us on sales tax collection. Again, this is simply showing the things that are happening in the business community and what happens when we stay focused on continuing to provide you good service, provide a good quality place to live, and reinvest in that product that we have. We were going to kind of try to we're going to take a chance to give some videos up here and talk about where we're going with workforce, because I do think that's going to be important. But unfortunately, our videos are not up here. But what they were going to show is that what our employees do every day and what we do. And we've tried to take the opportunity in this year's budget to invest in our employees, both their compensation but also their training. I go out, I've had work days with the Pensacola Police Department, the Fire Department, Parks and Recreation, Public Works, and Sanitation. And I'm about to go out on those inspections, so I'll soon be at a construction site near you. Again, this is what my wife always said. I think I said this at Gopher Club. She said, you ride with the police, you train with the fire department, you pick up garbage. She said you were living the 5-year-old fantasy of every 5-year-old in the city of Pensacola. So again, we are doing that. But we are also trying to stay focused in workforce and what you're doing. And part of that is the education system is not us, and but we are here to collaborate and support Malcolm and the school board any way we can. Whether it's going to be this year, we're looking to get some of the Chromebooks. Malcolm City's got to redo his Chromebooks, so his old Chromebooks. We're going to look to take probably 100 of those. We're going to try to put 10 in each one of our community centers. What does that do? We don't have to worry about programming for the kids. Those Chromebooks, they come there, they plug in their ID, and it goes right to the work that they're doing. So I can have a second grader use a Chromebook, and then I can have a seventh grader come in and use it right after them. And we already have the stuff that's at their level and the work that they need to do. We do a great job of continuing to build strong bodies at our community centers. We're working to create strong minds as well. We have other programming that is happening. We're about to take Woodland Heights, and we're about to work with the arts community in here to start offering programs for arts at Woodland Heights. I see Mark Faulkner Baptist. I know we've talked about ways that we can find ways to utilize our community centers and allow them to be healthier and allow our hospitals to come in and be a part of seeing. And certainly, I'm still going to call them Muscambia Community Clinics. I know they're community health, but I'm still going to call them Muscambia Community Clinics to come in and provide those needed, certainly those needed medical services for those in our community that are the least fortunate, that oftentimes end up going to our emergency centers and costing all of us more in what we're doing. But if we can find a way to allow for medical services to be provided through our community centers, we're open to doing whatever we can. And I think one of the things that we wanted to end with, we're going to have a slide of certainly where we are and the slogan of where we are with the city. With its logo, what we've gone to now is back to the seal with the part that says Florida's first and future. The reason that this is very important and what we think is what we're looking to put out there for everybody. The first part is we can be leaders in the state of Florida. We've been leaders in the state of Florida. We are the first place. In 2 years, we'll celebrate 200 years of the first time that the state of Florida became part of the United States. It happened here in Pensacola. Even though we beat St. Augustine to our first city, we don't have to argue about that because we did have the first flag. So there are times that we've been the first. And we're very proud of what we've done. We had the first skyscraper with the Seville Tower. We had the first of a number of different things that happened in this community and we should be proud of. And we will continue to promote our heritage because we think that is important. But we are also Florida's future. We are not locked to the past we've had. We continue to be focused on what we need to do in the future, and that means how we have to change our community. We said this morning, I talked to somebody and said, I don't ever want to change Pensacola's values. That's what made Pensacola great. But I'm not opposed to changing how we get to what we want to do. And we are very focused on our future. We're going to be at the cutting edge of where we are with repairing aircraft. We've certainly done that with the Navy, but now what we're going to be doing with ST Engineering, we're going to do that. The county's done an incredible job with financial services with what we see at Navy Federal, and I think we'll continue to be a leader in financial services. But you see what we're trying to do with cybersecurity, and we want to continue to work downtown so that companies have opportunities to invest and create at the cutting edge of cybersecurity. We want all of your companies that you're working in to be working at that lead edge is what we're doing, so that we are not just simply limited by our past, but we also are looking at an unlimited future and all working together. Again, the final part of that is it simply creates an opportunity. The only way we achieve that is by being together and working together and how we collaborate. You will find the City of Pensacola, all the things we talked about today, willing to work with you and your business to how we can end up growing this community. We're trying to figure that out, and we're here to try to help. We provide services. We want to create the best quality place, community, and we want to find a way to make it work for you. But that's it from what we hope to share today. We're now happy to hear from your questions. And Chris, you can't ask any. You want me to read them?
Yeah, I'll read them, and then. So you touched on the Port of Pensacola. Just want to acknowledge you had a question about your vision for the future of the port.
Again, I think the port can be a viable port. We certainly have a great asset that we have in a deep water port. But the question is, how are we utilizing it? I want to utilize it in ways, and Amy knows this, that are compatible with what we do downtown. I don't want to do anything that changes how we do and the success we've had in the downtown area. But there's no reason we can't continue to find ways to utilize. I mean, I think if you looked and you saw what happened with the American Magic that was here, when you look at what's going on with Blue Origin, when you look at what we really hope to do and seeing UWF here, I'd love to do more marine research. I'd love to find a way to put that through there. Who else could say, hey, we have an asset, we have acres with deep water access that are here and available. How do we find a way to make that work? So again, we are continuing to look and see what we can do, but whatever we do there has to be compatible with what we're doing in downtown. We have too much invested in what we're doing in downtown to not make it, but there's no reason that what we do with our maritime assets cannot be compatible. It's simply, I don't buy that it's one or the other. I'm committed to that point. Our port director is committed to that point. She knows it, and she's headed in the mission, and I think the numbers, the financial numbers, show that we're able to make a success at the port by staying involved in the strategy that we've said we're going to do.
Thank you. So next question, what are your plans to encourage collaboration between local businesses as opposed to larger corporations?
We're certainly looking at that, how we can do with local ordinance. We want to find ways to partner with you and your business and cooperate in whatever we do. I'm not opposed to that. We did that at the county. I think we've just been, Susan will tell you, she's still got about a list that's probably as long as what we brought here to speak on today that I've asked her to do, and we'll continue to work through it. But we can always look back at some of the what are ways that we can encourage and find ways to better work with our local communities and what we do. But the other part is then how do we focus and foster the ability for you to be here? I think organizations like the Chamber are incredibly important in what we do. And let me also say, for y'all, in getting involved in government, it's not just here. We have lobbying efforts that we take to Tallahassee from the city and the county, but that's not the only place it can happen. We have between Tallahassee and Pensacola, there are 5% of the population lives here. That means 95% of the people in Florida don't know what time it is correctly. But it also means how difficult it is for us when we go to Tallahassee, when people like Alex have to work extra hard. They have to work 5 times as hard as somebody else to get something done because of what ends up happening. And that just can't be your city and your county going over there. I think we certainly need the local business community to find ways to go over there as well and support what is happening and how we get things to happen here in the city of Pensacola. I think the investment we saw, both federal and local, come into here and what it's meant for businesses large and small shows where we are, and we need to continue to do that.
So do you have plans to make Pensacola a dementia-friendly community?
I will say it's not on the list at this point, but we're always welcome to look at it. Whatever we need to do. In all seriousness, I'm dealing with that right now. In fact, I'm probably getting dog cussed by my wife because I'm not helping her move. My mother-in-law and her stuff right now, we're moving into an assisted living. She had a fall. She's okay, but we definitely worry about those kind of things. What's ended up happening, she can no longer live at home. We're not having a car and we're moving her. So we're dealing with that. And I'm sure if I looked at every table, there's probably 2 or 3 people at each table that are in here that are living with that same issue going forward. So I'm not opposed to looking at it, whatever we need to do. I know I've talked to some people before about that. We certainly realize all of that's happening, and we've got to find a way if there's something the city's not doing and how we can do that. We certainly understand there are a number of people that are dealing with those challenges, and we want to find any way that's supportive for you to be here and be able to care for your loved ones.
Is there a plan of action for dealing with the homeless in our community?
Yes, there is, and I do. Chris went down ahead of me. Unfortunately, I had a couple of events I had to go to Thursday. I didn't get down to Orlando for the FLC on Wednesday, but Chris was there, and they had a whole day. PC was also there on homelessness, and it's not something that Pensacola is not the only one dealing with this. Escambia County is not the only one dealing with this. We're seeing it all over. What we're seeing though are these are places we're going to have to figure out how to spend our resources and how to spend it wisely. Now, I've already worked with the county. Lumen and I have been meeting and discussing this. We had a summit. The county kind of got involved after that. They had a few issues they had to solve, and then we've had a few things we've been working on. But we're picking it back up. In fact, we're scheduled to meet next week on this very topic. And really, we just had our executive team meeting right before I came here. We were talking about this. Chris was saying he's met with Janice. We're going to meet next week, and we're going to talk about some of the things that came out of that. Personally, I think there are a couple things we can be doing in transition housing. There's some things that we do well in local government. There's some things we don't do well. While I agree we need more people that are involved in case management, that's not what we do well. That's more of a state issue. We absolutely, I think Lakeview does an incredible job with that. I think they need more state funding. I think we should absolutely advocate for more of that, how we end up working it. But that's not something the local government's going to get into. But I do think transitional housing, we can do a few things with to help, but we also have partners that we're partnering with. We need all the other agencies here locally that are doing that. We have a lot of great, like Richard's Memorial, other ones that deal with it on a localized effort. What I think we can do also is a day center that has a place that is air conditioned, that has a place where people can come, where we can have an opportunity. I think the Washburn Center does this, but if we can get a place that is also air conditioned, that does this, that allows for our partners to come in and figure out how they take care of it, because homeless the reasons they get into homeless and how they live is so vast as anything else. It's not a one size fits all. Somebody may fit the Waterfront Mission model. Somebody may fit the Richards Memorial model. That's why we need a place where we can bring it together, and then we can bring people there. I'm a huge believer that not everybody, there may be a couple people that are homeless that are panhandling, but the vast majority are not. But the problem is until we solve the issue and begin to tackle that, then we can tackle where we are. Once we have a place for people to go and get help and engage those services, I think we will have a way that we can arrange that. But please understand, this is not simply a Pensacola problem. This is all over. But I do think your leadership here in Pensacola, both in Escambia County and Pensacola, are working diligently to find solutions on this.
And last question, tell us about any accessibility projects you have in the city.
I've got good team members because Allie already saw my voice was running and I was getting kind of scratchy and needed some water. So I appreciate it. We have several things that we're looking about that. I think that's one of the reasons we brought Mike here to deal with Complete Streets is to realize we need to build inclusively for everyone. We're certainly working at that, and Jonathan's busy doing that at Bilby, our inspections, and also our ADA compliance director. We're continuing to build inclusively for everyone, and we're going to continue to strive to do that. We've got other projects as far as how we alter what is already the built environment. I think that's what we're trying to look for Mike Zerniak to kind of do. I still call him Mike Z because I still have trouble with his name. So Mike Z does that for us, and we're excited about him being on the team. So those are some of the things that we're going to continue to do. But for us, we're always going to be inclusive in whatever we do. We want to make sure that everybody feels welcome here in the city of Pensacola, and we're working together. We're not always going to agree, but I think the more critical part is we've got to be committed to working together and got to be committed to being respectful with each other. And I think we've tried to do that between the mayor's office and the council. I think we're reaping the benefits of better working relationship together. We're trying to work that between the city and the county, and we're certainly reaching out to our partners at the state of Florida and working that. If we do that, we will be very successful across Northwest Florida. I'm entirely optimistic about where we go from here. I think we have a great business community. We have a great chamber. I appreciate what Todd's doing, and I think this whole concept to get different parts of our sector to talk about where we're going and what's going on is good. Anything we can do working together, that's part of it, and that's certainly what you have at the City of Pensacola. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Like I said before, we have a great team of great people who are working every day to make this community better for you, and we're going to continue to do that. And thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Kerrith. Kerrith, welcome to Pensacola. We look forward to getting to know you better over the coming years. And so anything we can do as a chamber, please let us know. In closing, I do have a couple of just chamber-related announcements. Our annual meeting is Wednesday, September 25th. It's a lunch meeting at Scopolo's New World. And we will have our next in the State Up series, State of the Military, in October. I believe it's October 10th, with Captain Tim Kinsella, commanding officer at Pensacola NAS, to give us an update on his vision and how we can work with him as a community. So in closing, I just again want to thank all of our sponsors. Specifically, I want to thank our title sponsor, University of West Florida. Appreciate y'all. And our gold sponsors, Gulf Power, Synovus, and Titanium Wireless. Thank you again for being here. Like I said, this is the first in a series of conversations. We want to continue. We want y'all to be a part of it. Thank you for being here today.